So I want to talk about one of the most important skills in this job, and it's phone skills. You guys, I know there's been a lot of stuff thrown at you. Now's the time. If you've allowed yourself to get distracted, of course, when you open up your Instagram and you were posting on social media, you might have gotten sucked into the rabbit hole of looking at all these posts. I'm going to ask you for your own good and for my sanity, so that it looks like you're giving me some of your time and attention. I do not take your time and attention for granted. I'm going to make sure that this little piece of the training of the team meeting today is worth everything that you sacrificed in order to be here. I know that at least one person on the Anaheim team had a gym time booked for today and had to cancel with a trainer or whatever, so they could make it to the team meeting. And I appreciate that commitment. And I just want to make sure it's worthwhile. And here's where it's going to be mostly worth your while. So you guys pay close attention. Managers, if you see somebody not paying attention, shoot them a message or call them or text them or something, because this is going to be the goods. Okay. There are 4 big skills in the job. Okay. You probably have figured this out by now. If you're brand new, maybe you haven't, but you hear me talk about this. The demo is a skill, right? Everything from building a good rapport to creating an atmosphere that is comfortable for the customer to buy, just doing a high quality, solid demo, so that at the end of the demo, they want to buy, and makes your closing easier, which is the second part of the job, is closing, right? Once you get to the part where you start to present the price, from that point on to the time that they say, yes, I want to get it, that's all called closing. Okay, so you got the demo, you got the closing, 2 key skills. You got the third skill, which could be argued is the most important skill, which is getting recommendations, or I like to call them introductions. People love to introduce people, but they don't always want to recommend people. So say the word introductions, and you're going to have more success in that process. And that is an important skill. Okay, some people are great at introductions right out of training. Some people are not great at introductions right out of training. It's interesting. Whatever happens right off the bat, that's what's stuck in someone's mind. It's either really easy to get introductions, or it's really hard to get introductions. I was one of those that it was really easy. I couldn't sell anything to save my life when I was brand new, but I was friendly and nice, and I asked with confidence for the recommendations, and I was able to get a lot of them. Yeah, people sometimes are like, hey, I'm kind of busy, I don't really have much time, but I still influenced them to at least give me 5, even if they were running out of time. But I like to try to get 10, 12, or sometimes even more than that. Introductions, really important skill. You can't do any of the other stuff without introductions. But just as important, and I could argue is maybe the most important skill for you now and long-term in your life, is phone skills. There's a lot more to scheduling Cutco demos than meets the eye. Some of the things that you are learning about being on the phone, you won't even know why it's great for like 5 or 10 years. Okay. It's 10 years from now, you'll be in some other situation not related to Cutco, and a light bulb's going to go off in your head. Oh man, this thing that I learned and I built up this ability to do in Cutco, it's coming in handy in this other thing. Okay. And I don't know what that other thing may be for you, but I've heard, no less than 100 times former Cutco reps tell me that a skill that they learned mostly on the phone or when it comes to getting introductions was something that had a lot of value. But I'm going to talk specifically about the phone. And when I talk to you about the phone, give you some tips here, I'm going to take you to a secret website. Well, it's not secret, but it might be a website that your first time ever to see it. Okay. I don't want you to get overwhelmed by what I'm about to show you. Okay. There is a lot of really amazing information on introductions, on phones, and all kinds of things. But I'm going to share my screen and show you this thing and let you in on just a little bit of extra stuff that you probably didn't know. Okay. It's Google. That's my secret. No, it's not Google. Okay. So the website I'm going to show you is called mysouthlanddemo.com. Okay. mysouthlanddemo.com. That's it right there. Okay. Now on this page, there's a lot of really cool training. There's some tips for your demo. There's a demo outline, all kind of fun things. There's some cool product details for all the different knives. Like if you want to learn what a boning knife is used for, all kind of cool stuff about how the boning knife is used. It's on there. All information about gifts and accessories, amazing information. What you do when you talk to Cutco owners. But I want to talk today about this tab called phoning. Okay, is everybody with me? Managers, are you watching your people? You're making sure that they're paying attention. Okay, cameras on so you can see them, because I don't want anybody to miss out on this, because it has really too much long-term value for you. Okay, so this tab on phoning, okay, there's a little things you can click on here. Like for example, if you need to get more phone numbers for people, I had someone in an interview yesterday ask me, well, how do I get more phone numbers to start off with? And I told them we got training on that. It's right here. I want to first go over just some basics about the phone approach, and I'm going to engage you in the chat box. So we're going to be watching who stays engaged and who doesn't. And if, we'll just be watching. And I'm going to ask you some very specific questions. Okay. Here's the basic approach. I think it's word for word what you were taught in your initial training. If not, it's really close. Hi, Aunt Martha. This is Brad. How are you doing? Right. And we talk for 2 to 5 minutes. Not 2 minutes. Sorry. We talked to 10 to 15 seconds about something else, what's going on in their world. If you're calling your uncle and he loves basketball, you ask him about the playoffs, right? You want to just kind of work to be a little bit natural here. Once you've had a little bit of visiting or catching up, depending on the person you're talking to, you dive right into why you're calling. Well, the reason I'm calling is because I started this great new job showing Cutco. Okay. In the chat, why do we say, well, you know what? I don't need you to say it in the chat. You know the answer. Why do we say showing Cutco, not selling Cutco? That was what I was about to ask. But you obviously know, because we don't want to imply that this is all about selling something. Okay. Do we ultimately want to? Well, sure. But it's right now, it's just about showing. Okay. So we always use the word showing. It's funny. I listen to reps sometimes do phone time, and they don't even realize they're saying selling right there instead of showing. So that's why every time you do your phone approach, you should always have this in front of you. I see people on the phone jam sometimes, and I see them looking down, talking, looking down, talking. And it makes me think they're ad-libbing their phone call, which you do not want to be ad-libbing. You want to be looking at the script. You want to pull this up every single time you do a phone call. You want to have this thing pulled up. Okay. Yes. Making a good first impression. That's right, Rena, for sure. All right. As part of my training, I get paid to do some initial training appointments. Okay. So we want them to know that we're new, right? That way, if it sounds like we're reading this, then they understand because we're brand new. I remember a rep in training one time called his grandmother, and he's like really nervous. Hi, the reason I'm calling is I just got a great new job showing Cutco as part of my training. I get paid to do some initial. He got down to the end, and his grandma, he said, I have an opening at 2 on Saturday at 2 o'clock or at 3:30, which is better for you. And his grandma says, his name is Blair. He says, Blair, are you reading this? And he goes, yeah. And his grandma goes, okay, well, yeah, 3:30 is fine, right? Didn't matter that he was reading it, right? Because he's new. He's saying that we're new right there. Then smile. Guys, what is the importance of a smile? Who can give me like one reason why? Put it in the chat. One reason why is it important that you smile when you're on the telephone? Makes you sound more friendly. Very good, Milana. Yeah, it makes you sound more friendly. So based on Milana's little thing there, think about this. When you're talking to your friends, you're more excited, you're friendly, a smile sets an atmosphere for the call, makes you more enthusiastic. Very good, Nathan. Very good, Rena. Look, Anaheim leading the answers. You guys can't, when you're on the phone, a phone with a friend of yours, and you're talking to them and you're just in a conversation, can you tell if they're in a good mood or not? Usually. Can you tell if they're smiling? We say you can hear a smile. Okay. Very, very true statement. You can absolutely hear a smile. So always smile. I was taught when I was new, we didn't have websites to be looking at or, things like that. Everything was on pieces of paper, but they said, do your phone time in front of a mirror. Okay. So I took my phone approach, which is on a piece of paper, and taped it on my mirror in my bedroom. And when I made my phone calls, I looked in that mirror and saw myself smiling, right? So maybe when you're on a Zoom on a phone jam, you can look at your own picture, and see what's happening. But you want to smile. You don't have to buy anything because I get credit just to show it. You guys see this line just takes the pressure off. We will meet online over Zoom. So you'll need to be in front of your computer at home. Really important that you say this line really nice and slow, right? I know that some people schedule an appointment and the customer thinks they can be on their phone. We do not want the customer on their phone. I shouldn't have to tell you why. We don't have their attention. My assignment is to do blank number of appointments in the next 3 days. Okay. There's one word that I'm looking for. Why we say that line. We are creating something. Okay. When we say my assignment is to do blank number of appointments, and we give them a specific number and we give them a specific time when we want it done, the next 3 days, we are creating something. What are we creating? Okay. Bonus brownie points for some urgency. Paulo dropped it in first. Urgency. Okay. We are creating urgency. I've seen reps do phone time and still get demos scheduled, but they don't do this. Sometimes they make demos, but they don't get it as high of a percentage of time as they should. Okay. And you don't want to schedule demos. Like if you're doing phone time tonight or tomorrow, you don't want to schedule demos for next Tuesday or next Wednesday or 2 weeks from Saturday. Very few customers is that a good idea to do, unless your demos are already completely booked for 2 weeks. You would never want to really do that. Okay. You need to tell them a specific number by a specific day. And ideally it's in the next 3 days. You can either say in the next 3 days, or you can say by Sunday. Okay. Or by Saturday. I have an opening blank, blank meaning the day at a certain time. So it goes like this. I have an opening on Friday at 1:15 or at 4:30. Which time is better for you? Okay. What's the importance of that line? Okay. What's the importance of that line? I'm going to call on somebody. I'm going to unmute you and call on you. So make sure you're paying attention. Why do we say this line? And I know some of you have seen some of my training. I'm calling on Armando. Armando, unmute. Why do we say that line?
Which line again?
Oh, yes. He's fallen asleep on me. I have an
Sorry.
opening. I have an opening on Friday at 2:30, or would 4:15 be better for you? That line right there. Why do we use that line, and why do we use it exactly like that?
Because we want to be specific on a day and time.
Okay.
So it looks like you are busy, and then also it gives them like, it doesn't leave room for like questioning to be like, oh, maybe.
Okay. He said 3 really good points in there. Thank you, Armando. You're right on target. Okay. Listen, first of all, he said the word busy. Okay. Here's something that some of you guys have seen the phone training on, they call the ABCs, the ABCs of phone time. Okay. If you haven't seen that 8-minute video, you want to get a hold of that, ask your manager, hey, how come I haven't seen the ABCs? I know that's where Armando learned it, right? On the ABC video. Because he got special privilege to that. So one of the keys, the B in the ABCs of phone time, is the word busy. You want to present a schedule of busyness. Okay. Now, some of you are incredibly busy, right? So it's not hard for you at all. Others of you, you might not have anything else going on. So it's hard to sound busy. So when you ask for 2 specific times, and the times are on like every 15 minutes, not like 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock, but 2:15 and 4:15, right? Or 2:15 and 6:45 or something like that. You're presenting an idea of busyness. If you ask them for a time and it doesn't work for them, and they say something like, well, I can't do it on Thursday like you want, but I'm open on Saturday. Could you do it Saturday? Here's what you don't say. Here's what most reps do say, but I'm going to teach you not to say. Don't say, oh yeah, Saturday's great. When's good for you? Okay. What reps think is they're accommodating. They're trying to be accommodating to the customer, but what they're doing is they're creating a situation where it seems like I, as a rep, am not busy at all. And if the slightest little thing comes up, they will cancel or postpone on you. Okay. The slightest little thing comes up in their life. Their friend says, hey, you want to come over in the backyard? We're playing croquet. You know, they'll be like, oh, I have this appointment with Jessica, but well, you know what? She's not really very busy. She was free all day. I can reschedule with her. Sure. I'll come over and play croquet. Okay. Maybe they didn't even really want to play croquet. But you've got to portray busyness, and that line does that for us. Okay. Once you've got the demo scheduled, you firm it. Okay. You firm it up, so that they know it's important. So you repeat the day and the time, right? Make sure you're writing in your schedule or putting it in your Impact app or however you're keeping track of your schedule. Great. Thanks a ton. This really means a lot to me. Okay. And don't gloss over that line. Make sure you say it. Show that gratitude, right? If they're in a long-term relationship, make sure you ask for both to be present for the demo. So say the next line, if you know they're in a long-term relationship. Hey, it works best, Mrs. Smith, if both you and your, depending on their situation, hopefully you know what it is, do this with me together. Is that time going to be good for Uncle Joe? Let's say if it's your aunt that you're on, will he be available also? You want to make sure that you establish that you want both of them there if they are married. Do it now, because if you don't do it now and you get the time to do the demo, they've carved out the time, you start to do the demo, you're very likely to hear this objection that if you're new and you don't know how to handle this, it's hard, where they say, well, let me talk to my husband, or let me talk to my wife first. Okay. You should never I want to talk to my wife, because you shouldn't be doing a demo to a dude anyway. Then once you get that confirmation, you smile. Hey, thanks for helping me out with this. I'm really looking forward to catching up. I'm booking my appointments back to back. Another really key line right here. This shows urgency and shows busyness. Hey, I'm booking my appointments back to back to hit my goal. So are you sure this is a good time? Okay. You're just asking for assurance. That way, when you ask them that, they're 99% of the time going to say yes. And if something else starts to creep up that they could do instead, since they told you twice, you confirm that was a good time, they're way less likely to blow you off. Okay. Because let's face it, you guys, when we set a demo for Cutco with somebody, they're happy to help. They're nice people, but they're not sitting on the edge of their seat, losing sleep at night the night before, saying, oh my gosh, Milana's going to call me. She's going to do that demo for me tomorrow. Oh my gosh. They're not doing that, right? They probably don't even remember it. Okay. Unless they look at their schedule. But we it's a big deal to us, but it's not a big deal to them. So we just got to make sure that we use that little line right there. Okay. And we always send them a confirmation right after, hey, I'm going to send you a confirmation in a few minutes. I also need, I'm going to email you a Zoom link before we meet. So what's your email address, right? So get their email address there because you want to email them the Zoom link. Okay. Here's a question. Think about it. Raise your hand if you know an answer. And if I don't, nobody raise their hand, I'm going to call on somebody. Why do we email them the Zoom link and not send them the Zoom link by text? Why do we email them the Zoom link and not send it by text? Sarah, I see Sarah's hand up. Angiana. Sarah, what do you think?
So that they're on their computer instead of their phone.
Boom. Okay. It's one way to help them be on their computer as opposed to their phone. If we send it to them by text, it might in their mind imply that it's okay for them to click Zoom on their phone for the demo. And that's not what we want, right? Can we sell to people on their phone? We have done it. Okay. Cutco reps are resourceful, right? We found ways to make sales all different kinds of ways, right? But we want to try to create the situation where the odds are the best possible that we can give. Okay. In front of their computer with no distractions is good. Great. I'll send you a link about 10 minutes before the time, and I'll call you when the time is right to meet on the Zoom. Okay. So you email them about 10 minutes early with the Zoom link. I don't like to email them the Zoom link until I have the Zoom open. Okay. Just in case they click it early, I want to be there for them. I don't want them to be waiting. And then, hey, this is really a big deal for me. So I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.